What is up, everyone? I'm going to talk to you about the Big Tex trailer. This is the 14TD. I've had it for a few months and I've done a ton of runs with this. A lot of stone, a lot of limestone, a lot of dirt. So I wanted to go over what I like about it so far, some things that they thought about that I feel like some trailers just miss. So starting from the front, I mean, it's pretty standard. They have your jack, which is great. There's nothing really special there. Same thing with the hitch. Inside where the mechanics are, you have over here the hydraulic, and this is where you carry your hydraulic fluid. Really simple, straightforward. Here's the battery system. One thing I want to show you guys here is there is a battery. Basically, it gives you the life and the charge of your battery. I don't know if you guys can see it, but keep an eye on that. And then right here in the front, there is just a little port for a typical extension cord, so you can trickle charge that. You're not going to overcharge it, so if you plug it in overnight, you're not gonna have to worry about it, and it'll charge up. If you're having issues with your trailer not going down all the way, or your dump not going down all the way, this hydraulic here, double check to make sure your battery's charged, because that has a lot to do with that not going all the way down. The next thing I love about this is this cover over the cover. So this tarp that rolls out is covered and protected, which came in handy when I was doing excavator buckets into here with a lot of stone. I wasn't worried about catching this. So this is a really simple thing here where you just pull this, it'll loosen this handle, you throw it up, you pull it over. Obviously, if you have a load in there, you get one person on each side, you lift it over that load, and then when you want to roll it back, it falls back into its little groove here, and it's tucked out of the way to where you're not catching it with buckets, brush. A big thing I know for me when I'm hauling brush is when you have a big bundle of tarp up here, brush gets caught on that, that's how you rip holes. So having it tucked here, lifted over cleanly, you shouldn't have any issues with your tarp. The other cool part about this trailer is that it is a 2-foot deep trailer, but they have these 2x4 connections here to where if you do want to put maybe another 2-foot wall with lumber up here to carry bigger loads, that's definitely an option. I do a lot more dirt, so I don't really need that because you're not going to be filling a trailer full of 4 feet worth of dirt. But if you are doing brush, it has that option for you. There's also these hooking points here. So when you do have a tarp over here, whether you're using this one or whether you're using your own, they have these hooking points where you can hook right here, you can hook in here. It just gives you a lot of options all the way down the trailer to where you can make sure that you secure your load. I know in some places when I'm doing loads in California, your loads have to be tarped or they won't let you into the landfill. So that's just a great way to secure your tarping. This right here is awesome. It is a light, but it's also a step. So you have access to get in and out of your trailer or mess around here. And then you also have another step right here on this side. So again, they really thought about how this trailer works when you're using it. So overall, that's kind of the things that they really thought out well. It is a 7-gauge heavy duty floor. So if you look in here, and I'll put some footage over this, but I was dropping massive stones and boulders into this, and you can see that it didn't dent any of the floor of this trailer. I will show you one spot over there, you guys can kind of see it, where I dropped a massive boulder and it bent the edge of the trailer. That was 100% my bad, and it was a really big boulder. But again, it hit that and bounced onto the floor of this trailer and didn't do any damage on the floor of this trailer, which is great. So moving to the inside of this trailer can haul equipment as well, which is why I really liked it and wanted it, because I do a lot of skid steer hauling as well as I do a lot of dirt and brush. So on each 4 corners, there's a D-ring. So there's one here, there's one over there, and there's 2 in the back. So this is so when you pull your skid steer or your Mini X up into here, you can ratchet that down front and back and have it secured inside your trailer. So again, a Swiss Army knife of trailers. Moving to the back, one thing that I didn't think I would like, or I didn't think I wouldn't like it, but I didn't notice it, was the hooks for your trailer. So every time you see a trailer, people replace gates all the time because people forget to latch the gates back, or the little chain that you latch the gate on breaks off and you don't have it anymore, so you got to use a bungee or something. Here they have these little, I would just call them basically D-rings, to where when you throw your trailer back, you hook it on there and you're secure. There's no trying to stretch a chain, lock a chain. That is a deep hook here, so you're not going to lose that. And one thing I like about it too is that I don't have to walk all the way around to the back side of my door to latch it. I can stand here, open it, latch it from this side. Same thing over here, swing it open, latch it, and it's good to go. I don't have to get back there and do some weird shenanigans with all that crap back there. So that is something that's really awesome. Really heavy doors, really solid doors. So that's always a bonus. But one of those things that I didn't really think about, but honestly has come in clutch to not have to worry about my door falling open while I'm dumping. The other part about this gate is that it also is a dual gate. So not only do you have the dump, but you also have the gravel spreader. So if you have a bunch of sand or gravel or road base or whatever you have in here, you can pop this pin right here. You open this up, and that gives this gate the ability to tilt. There's only one lever. You open this side, and it'll also open that other side. You can see that you can spread gravel, it'll dump out. And again, you can choose whatever width you want. If you're doing sand, you're gonna probably have it a little bit closer. If you're gonna do bigger gravel, obviously spread it out. So you just count your chain links on this side, same thing with that side, and you'll be uniform on spreading gravel, and just super simple to close back up. So they really did think about it all. So another thing that's a really cool feature are these jacks here for when you're loading a skid steer. So the biggest problem that I have when loading skid steers is that it will lift the back of your truck up. And I've actually put some heavy equipment in my truck with a bumper tow. And if you have too much weight here on the back, like this trailer drops down, a foot or so, it will actually lift your tires off the ground of your truck. And if your parking brake is on, which it's a whole other story of if you should put your parking brake on while you're loading, which I wouldn't recommend it. But still, if those tires go up, you can see your car move forward or start to wiggle back and forth. And that is incredibly unsafe. So these kickstands or these jacks back here give you the ability to load heavier equipment. I think this one can carry up to 11,000 and some change. It gives you the ability to drive up with the ramps that are stashed under here. It gives you the ability to load up equipment without having to put that danger zone on your truck towing hitch. One other thing that I really, really like about this is they gave you really long ramps. I've seen ramps that probably are right about right here. That was on the other trailer that I had, and it just makes that angle super steep. So if you're loading a track loader, it's a pretty steep climb to get in the trailer, and it's just kind of sketchy. So I like that they thought about doing longer ramps to give you a more gradual climb so that you're not in another dangerous situation with, a tipping hazard. So that's really nice. Another thing is they made these a little oversized for these ramps to go in. I've used so many trailers where they make it almost perfect to where if this gets twisted, bumped, or mud or dirt on it, you can't get them in. But they made these nice and big. So you can slide those in really easy. So one thing that I like what they did with these lights is they put a rubber grommet here on your light. So instead of having it solid or attached on here, if you dump your load, which a lot of people do, and you hit rock, like say you have a pile of dirt here and you're trying to dump on another pile, these lights will get hit. And I've had a lot of trailers where they'll just crack and they'll blow out and you have to replace them. Because these have rubber grommets on them, even these larger ones here, instead of them cracking or breaking, they'll just push into that cavity and then check them, and then you can just pop them back out, put them back in, and you're not having to replace your lights consistently because they gave you that wiggle room so you're not just cracking your light every time you open up or dump on a pile of dirt. So now going to the lift, this is a cylinder lift. It is, I'll never use a different, I've used majority the scissor lift that goes from under the trailer, but this is a cylinder lift. You can see the cylinder here. One thing that I really like that they did was a lot of the older cylinder lifts that I've used, the cylinder sticks up top here, 2 feet or so or 1.5 feet, really ugly and just doesn't look clean. It's a catch hazard for whatever you're doing. So they actually countersunk that under this tarp with a plate that attaches. And when I lift it, you can see how compact everything is. It's nice and tight, and it gives you the ability to lift the front of your trailer so you can do really heavy loads. I have yet to fill this trailer up and not have it dump, and I'll show some videos of how much I've put in here. This is a 14-foot by 2-foot, and I pretty much filled it to the brim, and it's dumped no problem. Another cool aspect about this is it has a little groove right here that they put in place to where if you are doing a bunch of loads continuously, you can just go ahead and take your control out. And what I'll do is I'll just wrap it around here. If I'm doing loads around the ranch where I'm not going on the highway, I'll just wrap it around here, throw the magnet on here. That way I don't have to open this every time I want to dump. But overall, really well thought out. The other thing, let me lift this up and I'll show you guys. One thing that I'll say is probably my most favorite about this trailer is you can see here from tongue, you can see this from tongue all the way around is one continuous I-beam. There's no seam in this I-beam here. It goes all the way back and your trailer sits on that. I've seen trailers, they'll have your V, the V will extend, it'll be welded at these points, and then you'll have a chassis for your trailer that will sit down on top of that. It's basically a second chassis on another chassis. It's fine, so there's no problem with it, but I do like how durable and strong this is because the entire trailer from tongue all the way to the back is one continuous I-beam on either side. That's not gonna break. And if you break that, I don't know what you did, but it's pretty much impossible. The other cool thing that they installed in this is they have a safety bar. So if you need to get under there and work on something, you need to change whatever it is that you gotta do, you have a safety bar to where you don't have to worry about this coming down on you. And injuries happening. So that's just a little bonus, nice thing to put in there. And it just helps with whatever maintenance you might have to do. Speaking of maintenance, it has electrical brakes on here and they're self-adjusting. A lot of older trailers, you'd have to get under there with your tool and adjust those brakes as you wear down those pads. These ones adjust automatically. So the only time you're getting in there is when you're actually changing the brakes, which again is not very often. So really well thought out to keep you working instead of working on your trailer. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I want to talk about on this trailer. It is a 14 by 2 foot high wall trailer. It can carry, I think its gross vehicle weight is, or gross whatever weight is, I want to say it's 14 or 16,000 pounds, something like that. But obviously the trailer itself weighs 4,000 something. So you get a towing capacity of around 11,300 feet, 11,300 pounds that you can put inside this trailer, which is most of your standard skid steers, a significant amount of dirt. And again, this trailer will lift more than that. It's just that's what the axles and your tires are going to be rated for. With this, you're most likely going to be blowing out a tire or messing up an axle before this lift stops lifting, which is really impressive. So this is it fully extended. So you can see you have a lot of fall here. I believe when it's at its high point, it's a 45-degree angle. So whatever you have in your trailer, you're going to be able to dump it out. And it has 5 cylinders on it. You can see them right there. One thing that you'll notice is when you lower it down, it'll go faster, or it'll go faster, and then it'll start getting slower as it goes down. That's because as you're dropping this trailer, it's pushing that fluid, that hydraulic fluid, back into this tank, which is why it's important to make sure you have your battery charged or have somewhat of a charge on it, because that's basically helping that go down. So just make sure your battery's charged. It'll go down quick, and as it gets slower, that's part of how the cylinder works, and there's no problem with that. So overall, I mean, I've used this trailer for a lot of loads. I've used it for some brush. I've used it for hauling lumber. I've used it for hauling dirt, rock, gravel, and honestly, there's nothing that this trailer can't take. Tows smoothly, has a really easy lift. I don't have to worry about front loading it. One issue that I had with scissor lifts is I would have to get some 4x4s, and I would set 4x4s on this chassis here so that the trailer wouldn't go down to flush. Because if you do a scissor lift and you overload it and it's flush, you're not getting that trailer up. Here, I drop it down flat. I load it in the front, I load it in the back, it doesn't matter. And it lifts and dumps, no problem. So it really eliminates the process or the thought process of trying to figure out how should I load my trailer, right? When I was loading another trailer, I had to do 2 scoops on the sides in the back, and then I had to do 3 scoops in the front to make sure that it could lift. On this one, I'm doing probably 3 or 4 scoops in the back, and I'm doing 3 or 4 scoops in the front, and there's no problem with it. So it eliminates that thinking or that worry of if I load this and drive this 20 miles and then I can't dump it, then I got to get a shovel and start figuring out how to get dirt out of here by hand. So I highly recommend this. This is the Big Tex 14TD Mega Hoist. It is an awesome, well-built trailer. Big Tex has been building trailers for longer than I've been around, and they have made the best trailers from start to finish, and they're constantly getting better. You guys know companies that I like to talk about are companies that not only have really good products, but are always listening to people like myself and you guys who use them to make them better as the years go by, and that's definitely Big Tex. So if you guys want to check out Big Tex, I'll put a link below this video. You guys can check them out, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you like it, if you don't like it, if you use Big Tex, don't use Big Tex, problems you've had, problems you haven't had, whatever else. So I'll look for you guys in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Much love.